past sunset.
If your truth and good will come to you. Home, sweet home. Home, sweet home. Grounded, steady, earth between your toes, arms wide, ready, love is true, you know. Come roll, you can borrow calm, piece by piece, thriving in your.
Hey babe, welcome back. If my voice sounds weird, it's because I have a cold. I think I made myself sick by overdoing it. I kind of got you all caught up with the videos. We moved out officially 1 week and a few days ago, the Friday after Thanksgiving. We moved out of New York City, and then we had to go back. We had to clean that place up. Then we came back here, and the place was a disaster. We are still organizing and unpacking. There are boxes downstairs. You know, we were basically combining our apartment in the city with this house here. And our style here is a little bit different because we're in the country. So it's kind of a merging of those two styles. We have definitely some leftover furniture, but when we renovate, we have plans for that furniture. So it's just been a lot. And I think that constant overdoing it for 4 or 5 days straight, I got sick, hurt my back. And then we also were commuting. We were commuting from Pound Ridge here in Westchester County into the city every day last week. So we were kind of learning that, driving to the train station, jumping on the Metro North, heading into Grand Central, which is so cool to see Grand Central. When you live in New York City, you rarely go into Grand Central unless you're taking a train out of the city to go visit someone. So it's a rare occasion that you go to Grand Central, but we're there now every day when we go into the city and when we come back home. So it's a pretty beautiful and magical place, but we've just been trying to sort all that out, and it's just been a little crazy. And I apologize for not responding to comments very soon or quickly. I really just went all in with trying to get this place unpacked and get it feeling like home, because as you saw with those images, it was very chaotic and it's hard to live in an environment like that. So we were just full steam ahead. So anyway, now that you've got all those updates, welcome, babe. I am so excited to reveal this bedroom to you. I cannot believe how much I love this bed, how beautiful the fabric looks, and how everything turned out. So let me grab before I give you the reveal, I just want to kind of just touch on, let me grab another sip. Kind of just touch on the mood board and the process, because that was a big part of this room, was going through the design process with you. So for me, I am a lot of trial and error, because I have an idea, I have a vision of what I want the space to look like, how I want it to feel. And if you've watched previous videos, oh, wait, by the way, I'm Christina DiStefano, if you're new here. Sorry, my brain is a little cloudy with this head cold today. I'm so sorry, babes, if this is a little off off my usual vibe, but I'm so happy that you're here with me, and I'm so happy to like finally present this to you. So anyway, going back to the mood board, which I have here on my screen, but I'll share it with you. So I knew I wanted to incorporate this painting here beside me. I got some new bedding in like this really beautiful mocha brown flannel. That was really important because this room is above the garage, and this is an older house built in 1955, and so it can be quite drafty. We're in the country as well, so older house, original windows, very, very drafty. So it was important that we had bedding that would keep us nice and cozy in these colder months. So bedding that I got from the company store. I really love this like mocha brown color. I also purchased the quilt that goes with this and the shams, so I will share that with you momentarily. And then we also got the fabric swatch, the fabric sample that I shared with you, that I was like, okay, this is what I want. I went to the Holland and Sherry location in the design center in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, and I got the sample of this fabric and absolutely fell in love with it. So we knew that was on. We sent the bed out a few weeks before we moved out to the upholsterer so he could transform this bed that was originally purchased from our house. It was just a plain white, kind of like a tweed bed that I just didn't want to bring in here, because this room, the big issue and the big problem I had in this room is just because it's a big rectangle. It's a larger room than what Jerry and I have been accustomed to living in New York City. And so it felt very long, it felt somewhat wide, and it just felt very white. Like it was just a little too sparse with the way we had it decorated before, which was fine for, summertime. But now that we're living here full time, I really wanted to step it up. As a weekend house, it was okay. But like coming here, it was like, okay, this is where we're living. Let's just step this up. Let's get it to where we want it to be so we can really love our bedroom. And so reupholstered the bed. I wanted to keep a lot of the same artwork. I made some changes. We brought in the dresser, all these things I'm going to show you in just a minute. And we painted the ceiling. And Nicole, we went with AF 135, your choice. A few other people chose that too. And I was really like, oh, I don't know which one I want. But that's the one we ultimately went with. And I love it. I'm very happy with it. It works really well with just the whole color palette in here. So now that we've shared that, I want to talk to you really quick before we do the tour about the importance of mood boarding. So when we initially started, I shared the mood board. I was able to determine that I wanted to really warm up this space, and that was really what that mood board was about. I was leaning more towards like the amber color in that mood board, but also brown. I knew I really wanted to incorporate brown into this space because I'm a lover of brown. One more sip. I'm on the verge of coughing. I have that little tickle in my throat. Yes, I'm not gonna cough. I'm just gonna keep sipping on this chamomile. Okay, so I knew I wanted to incorporate brown into this space, and we have the warm oak floors. They're like an amber warm floor, the original floors in the house. So everything had to kind of work with the flooring because it's such a dominant feature in this house. And then our walnut dresser and these side tables, which we got the side tables, I think we got these over a year ago when we first bought the house here. And that worked really well with the flooring that we have. So it was like, okay, this we knew would work with the walnut dresser because the walnut dresser kind of leans towards warm. Also, I received some drapes from Quince, which I've placed in here, a candle, and a beautiful soft throw, like a faux fur throw that I will also share with you today. So I think, oh yes, I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize, you all, so apologize. That's the head cold. So the importance of the mood board. So with the mood board, I determined the feeling that I wanted in this space. Now, the thing I would say to you is, the next step from the mood board is to go with the furnishings board. It goes from the mood, like here's the vibe, here are the adjectives that we want for this room, here are the adjectives that we would use to describe the room, 3 to 4 to keep it concise. So our adjectives for this house are artistic, rustic, because we are out in the country, so we cannot deny the fact that we're in the country. We certainly don't want this to look like a city home when we're in the country on 5 acres surrounded by trees and a pond, right? So we have to acknowledge and embrace that here. Well-traveled, so Jerry and I love to travel. That's a big aspect of like who we are personality-wise, and just that feeling of like embracing the world and appreciating other cultures. So well-traveled. What did I miss? Oh, and modern. So we do want to inject elements of modern lines, like modern clean lines and modern sort of simplicity into the space. And so that combined with the rustic is always, in my opinion, a really good complement, especially if you're an eclectic person, which I am. So is Jerry, like in our style. We don't really go into themes. And so if you're eclectic, that's a good combination when you're eclectic. If you like the clean lines, but you also like the natural, organic, sort of rustic feeling of pieces like that. I just realized I'm kind of dressed in the theme of this room. When you're mood boarding, you take that time to really assess how you want your home to feel. And so as I describe my adjectives, then you want to like play with the mood board. I use Canva for that. You could just use a Pinterest board if you like, or make a folder on your phone where you can store images there that emulate that feeling. I like Canva because it's, there's even a free version, but I use it for a lot of things that I do. So I put those together for that mood board. And then from there we went to the finishes board. And that was the one that I shared with you earlier, where you could see like, okay, here's the side table, here's the lamp, here is the fabric that we want to use, here's the paint. So just want this to also be a learning experience for you too. So from the mood board, you graduate to the furnishings board, and that's where the real work begins. That's where you start sourcing and finding those things that work together to create the mood that you've determined, like predetermined on your mood board. So from there, I get a little obsessed because I start looking for the perfect piece, and I will interchange, because it's all digital and you're not actually financially committing to something. You can then play with, like, do I like this chair? Do I like this fabric? Do I like this pillow? Do I like this artwork? Do I want something else? What color drapes do I want? It's where you can kind of like just change things out. So it almost becomes like a game to me in a way, because it is supposed to be fun, right? We're decorating our homes, but that way you can interchange things and you've not financially committed to anything. So you're not at risk of wasting money. Like, in the past, when I was younger, I might have purchased a lamp that impulsively I was drawn to. However, it didn't really work with the overall feeling of the space that I was creating. And so then it was like, okay, now we're not using this lamp and it's been too long. So now I'm committed to this lamp. So, you're either committed to something you don't necessarily want, or, you're financially spending money on something and then you're just putting it in a closet or reselling it. So in order to avoid all of that, spend the time sourcing and trying things out on this finishes or furnishings board. Then from there, we start putting it together. So we start actually making the purchases and we start sourcing and buying the pieces. So that leads me to the lead time. So that's the other thing you've got to think about. So we did purchase a mirror for this bedroom, but the lead time on that, when we purchased it, it was like a month lead time. So we should be getting that mirror. That was an additional purchase that we made from Design Within Reach. That wasn't a part of the plan, but it actually was like something we thought about further back, like, oh, we want to get like a mirror for this specific location between the 2 closet doors in our bedroom. And we just happened to find that one and it looked so good with the dresser. So we just went with that. But you got to pay attention to lead time. So today when I reveal the room to you, I am without that mirror. So when it comes, I'll be sure to give you an update in some capacity of the mirror. So without further ado, let's check out the bedroom. And I can't wait to get your feedback and your thoughts on it. One more sip of tea, then let's go do this. Here is the bed. And I have to say, it is definitely a chocolate brown. And this fabric is kind of a brown with maybe a hint of plum. CD, I think you called it like a mink color. I think it really does have that color because it's actually this is really kind of my favorite color palette. This kind of plummy brown, you can see here, kind of mink color with like the chocolate brown with like the darker brown elements. So let me just share this with you. Here we are. Let's maybe go over here so you can get a better view. Oh, the chair is crooked. Okay, you just have to ignore the fact that the chair is crooked. So here we are. So there's the AF 135 from Benjamin Moore. It's actually a ceiling paint, which is really, really good because what that does is it absorbs a lot of light. So for a ceiling, sometimes you're going to have uneven patches on a ceiling. And if you do, definitely ask the person at the hardware store. That's what we always go to this local Ace hardware store in Scott's Corners, like in our little village. But they actually turned us on to the ceiling paint, which I found just turned out so well. Like you could see, it's just a really smooth, flat sort of paint. Originally, I wanted like a gloss paint up here to reflect the light. However, the ceiling was too uneven and inconsistent that it would have shown all of those markings. But if you actually look, you can see a lot of light is still reflecting off of this ceiling here. So it has a nice sort of diffused light reflection. So actually it turned out really great. I brought in this is from the house or the condo where we lived before, but it's just a simple folding bench kind of thing made out of leather and copper. So we have that here. We added that. That was not a part of the furnishings board. That was an impromptu addition. There's a couple other things I want to share with you. So I had this amazing pillow made. It is I'm 6 feet, I'm 5'11", so this pillow is really long. I think I got it at 48 inches. Is that right? No, 58 inches. Can't remember my numbers here, but I got it with these square edges. So you can see here, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to sort of repeat the shape of the bed backing. Let me show you here. So you can see the back of the bed. The way this bed is designed, it's meant to kind of look, you can see the seam in the middle. It's meant to feel like you've got two big pillows for a headboard. And then I added the flannel pillow here. This is in that mocha color or cafe. It could be cafe or mocha. And then these are from the company store. And this is not a sponsored video from the company store. This quilt cover. And then we've got this little like minky pillow that we already had from Design Within Reach. So I wanted to create kind of these points. So we're repeating the shape. You've got the repeat of the corner here, the corner here, corner here, corner here. So something like that, and then the corner here. And the reason why I bring that up is because Jerry asked me, why didn't you make this like a cylinder sort of tube shape? But I wanted to repeat this shape through it. I don't know, maybe it's being a painter, maybe it's being an artist, but I find something very satisfying in sort of creating a pattern. Whoa, hello, hi. Sort of creating a pattern and kind of bringing that pattern where you're going like boom, 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 boom. I don't know, you're seeing that. It's probably has a lot to do with also just the fact that I tend to design, I tend to dress, I tend to paint in very limited color palettes, almost primarily monochromatic. And so that's one of the things I love about this. This is a very monochromatic palette. Let me see if I can give you a better view of the bed. So it is a lower bed than what we had, but I love the monochromatic palette. It's so warm, it's so cozy. This fabric, it was an investment for sure, but we owned the bed for 5 years, so it was almost like we didn't even have to pay for the bed, and it was better than getting rid of the bed, in my opinion, because we thought about, oh, we could just go buy a new bed, but instead we opted to invest in the fabric and work with someone who could reupholster it. And the outcome, I think, totally, you know, if we were to go buy this bed somewhere else, it's completely one of a kind and unique now, and it feels like a very European sort of modern bed, but with this incredible fabric. And so, I mean, we'd pay way more than what we would have spent for something now that is one of a kind, and it looks like a really cool design piece. Okay, let me share what I did with the dresser, because I changed this too. So we did, whoops, my hair, hi. We did bring in our dresser. Let me here, oh, there's our little heater to try to keep us warm. Jerry was like, you should definitely take that heater out of the video. And I'm like, no, they know about that heater. So I didn't remove it. This you may recognize from the kitchen. And one of the things that I wanted to do, I started putting some things here, and I realized one of the things that I really do not like are too many little things. The small pieces can really make the space look cluttered. And so what I opt to do, I also feel like if you're trying to get a more designed look in your space, then opt for bigger and bolder, because the bigger and bolder pieces, and where it's like maybe a little more minimal, like the decor is a little more scaled back, but you have bold pieces, meaningful pieces, pieces with impact, pieces with punch. Those are going to give a more designed look, in my opinion. I'm definitely like much happier with the way this turned out versus having a lot of small pieces. This could have been moved in a little bit, so let me just correct that. So we brought this piece in. These are sticks from outside, but I love their curvy sort of liney art, and I think that looks so good with my painting in the back. Let me see if I can focus that a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. Also, we have all of our perfumes and fragrances here, a lot of which are unisex. Jerry and I share a lot of the same fragrances. I tend to go for more masculine fragrance. So we have all those here on this really cool little vintage mirror tray, which I love. My grandmother had one of these, and she had her perfumes on it. She used to wear Estee Lauder. What was it called? Was it called Youth Dew, or was that Face Stuff? But she used to wear that, and I just remember the smell of it and seeing it on this tray, and I thought, oh, that's so glamorous. Like, you know, I was probably like 4, but I was like, someday I want to do that. Someday I want to have like one of those trays, and I'll have my perfumes on it. Just seems so special, you know. And when my grandmother would take out her perfume and put it on, she put on her lipstick and stuff, we'd get all dressed up and we'd go shopping in downtown Kansas City. It was like really special. We'd take the bus down, and she'd wear like all her cute clothes and have her little pocketbook and everything. And it was like a really special occasion. So when I see this tray, I think about my grandmother and my grandma Alberta. We called her Grandma Bert, but I think about her, and that was like some of my first experiences with decorating. Like, she was also an avid decorator in her home, and her style I really liked. She used a lot of rich browns and a lot of chrome. She had a very modern kind of flair to her home, but she also lived in downtown Kansas City, so it made sense. Here in the country, we got a little mix of rustic with a little bit of our modern. And then I'm so like digressing today. It's the head cold. It makes me like blah, 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 blah and talk. Hey, I'm happy that I'm not coughing. So thank you, God, for not making me cough too much on this video. And then lastly, I've got these two things. So these, I actually bought these from, maybe I move over here. I actually bought these from Terrain last summer. Remember when we did the vlog where Jerry and I went to Terrain and we had lunch? We bought some flower pots, and we bought those tons of tall grasses. My husband has an affinity for tall grasses, which I really do too. They're so elegant and beautiful, and they're so pretty in the summer and in the fall to decorate with too. So we got these two pieces. I knew that I wanted to use them either as a vase or for candles, which is what I'm using them for here. So inside I put some candles. My shoe is squeaky. Whoa. Oh my God. This head cold. I think it probably is the cold medicine too. It's making me very loopy. I swear I'm not drinking and I'm not smoking pot. My head feels so weird. I don't typically take cold medicine, but I just didn't want to be sick on camera with you all because I promised you a video. So, I want to keep my promises to you all, and I was really missing you all too. So anyway, once again, digressing. So anyway, I got these pots. Terrain has great sales too, so just keep an eye out for those. I think you can actually buy these online too, so you don't have to go to a retail store. And so I put candles inside of these. That's actually, let me straighten this camera up a little bit. There you go. And we've got our picture light like right above here, which makes for an extra light in this room, in addition to the two side lamps. But I actually got this idea to put candles inside of these big pots from a woman I used to work with years ago when I was right out of my university, like right out of art school. And her name was Lynn Steely, and I worked estate sales, and I managed her really cool vintage and antique sort of home decor and clothing and accessories. I managed her shop. It was downtown Kansas City. It was such a cool shop, but I got so many ideas from her. So I want to credit Lynn Steely with this idea to put the candles inside of these big pots, because I went to a party at her house before I worked with her. She was the editor of, I think it was Kansas City, like one of the Kansas City home decor magazines. And I went to a party that she had, and she had this huge pot, like a really big pot, and she had a big like 3-wick candle inside of it. But she had the candles in there, and I had that big candle, and I just thought that is really cool because there was something kind of gardeny about it, and it was at night, and the candle, I don't know, I just found it really fascinating and interesting, and it was the first time that I saw someone do something like that. So that's also a tribute to Lynn Steely. So we've got my grandma Bert here with the mirror tray, and Lynn Steely here. So, there were a lot of really creative women in my life as I was growing up, and so I want to pay homage to them for sure. Okay, let me show you the rest of the room. So you all have seen this painting previously here, right? Yes, okay, my head might be cut off, but so this painting is really kind of an important piece because it sets the palette in this room. And I knew I wanted to keep this painting in here. So this kind of set the palette. There's a little bit of like tan, white, ivory, and a really dark brown. It was raw umber was the color of the paint that I used, which is a favorite of mine. This chair, this big pillow, we've got the lamps here, which the shades and the bronze of the lamp I think work really nice with the drapes here, which are in the ivory from Quince. And then you've got the sort of tan paint on the ceiling, which was AF135. I'm gonna remember that name or that number forever. And then also, you guys know these drawings. So these drawings were, I'm just gonna mess up the bed and jump on it. Okay. These drawings were an amazing find at Housing Works. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I love Housing Works. It's a thrift store chain. I guess you could call it a chain. Is this camera crooked? Let me fix it. It's a thrift store sort of chain. There are multiple locations in Manhattan. There we go. And I found these at the Upper West Side location, which is my favorite location. The Upper West Siders have some cool stuff, let me just tell you. So they get great stuff all the time. I can't remember the block. I think it's like 74th and Columbus Avenue, but it's the Housing Works on the Upper West Side. If you ever come to New York City and want to check it out, I got these drawings for $5. Then I just bought these frames on Amazon, with an ivory mat and just frame them. That's it. But look at these things. These drawings are so gorgeous. They're drawings of Paris in, let me get you guys closer, from 1967. And I was just like, oh my God. So, woo, the camera's going crazy, sorry. So you can see those. I just love them. And I love movies that take place in Paris in the 60s. So it's really cool to me to see these types of images of Paris, you know, a time that we will never be able to experience ever again. So really special. And then for now, I just hung a small painting of mine here, but this is where the mirror will go. And it's walnut and it has like little brass accents. So we're gonna put that here and the room will be complete. So in addition, Quince was also nice enough to send me like a little bedroom warming gift, this Mediterranean fig candle, which smells, oh my God, it smells so good. Whoops, I'm getting caught on the branches. It smells like fig, but it also has a hint of tomato, like tomato vine. It's really beautiful. So we're gonna light this baby. I think it will look really pretty right here. I definitely want to get a pretty fancy lighter. This is not so aesthetically driven. This one, definitely not for an aesthete. But look at that. I can't wait to fill this room with this beautiful Mediterranean fig candle. You know how I mentioned how important cozy and just like all of that is for this bedroom? I've also got this really beautiful faux fur throw. So no animals were harmed with this faux throw, but the quality of it is so pretty. Look at it. It's like, it actually does resemble fur, and it's as soft as fur. Actually, it feels soft, like my kitty Harriet. Reminds me of my kitty Harriet. She was a black cat though. But anyway, I'm digressing, and I hope I didn't hit my microphone too much. But I'm gonna mess around with this and try to find a way to put it on this bed that I like. Actually, that looks pretty. I like this idea of kind of throwing it just kind of casually on the bed. I'm such a lover of symmetry that doing something like this is like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Let me show you. So you can see, look how pretty that looks. I'm gonna mess around with this more. Whew, so soft. Okay, so my love, thank you for being here. Thank you for bearing with me with this cold. It's been tough, but you are here. Oh, it's velvety soft on the other side too. And cold medicine, brain and all. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I did with this room. I hope that it inspired you to make some simple changes in the room. Also to think about how you can repurpose your furniture, because like reupholstering a chair or reupholstering a bed, you can get great fabric at really good prices, really beautiful. You can get, if not free fabric samples, you can get fabric samples. Most people will give you free fabric samples. I know West Elm sells a lot of fabric, and that's what I used to reupholster the bed that we had in here before, the headboard. So doing something like that can then give you a one-of-a-kind piece and can really make your bedroom or your whatever room really special. It's special to have something that is unique, and that's not something that just anyone can go out and buy. It's one thing like for a throw or something like that, but when it comes to a piece of furniture, it really gives you an elevated look if you have a piece that is unique. That's why I love buying things secondhand and going thrifting and stuff like that, because you're able to find something that not everyone can find. And if professional decorators would typically want to find pieces that are a little more unique, a little more special, because otherwise you could just go to West Elm or RH or wherever and work with their designers there and create your home with their products. So when you're working with the designer, getting a design looked, going that route of trying to find things that are a little more unique, a little more special to you, things that make your heart sing, things that are unique to you, bringing out those family elements, those things that remind you of special people in your life, people that have inspired you. That's how you get something that really feels like you and that just feels so special. And we are here now living in this house full time, and it's our brand new chapter, and it's still sinking in. It's been a week, but we're not living in New York City anymore. So I know I said this on the last video, but I'm so excited for this next chapter. I just know there's so many great things that are going to come from this. And I'm so excited that you're here with me because I could share that with you. You know, I just want to inspire you, and I want to encourage you, and I want to support you, and I want to help to educate you if you're interested in design, or if you are a designer getting back into it, or if you're an interior designer right now and you're wanting to just kind of, I don't know, get re-inspired. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for bearing with me with my cold. I want to say that you are so amazing, and thank you all, and sending you so much love from Pound Ridge. Mwah. Bye, babes.